have here is this. Hello there, Facebook Live. It's Sergeant Boyer coming to you. Apparently, Officer Shane is not available right now, so I'll be taking over his duties. What is it he did? Oh, the cards. The cards. Let's get to the cards. The first card. Grumpy Guy 707 asked, "Is it ever okay to park in a red zone?" That is a ridiculous question. The sign clearly says no stopping. Of course not. Let's be honest, Facebook Livers. This isn't the stuff you want to know about. Let's talk about stuff you really want to know about. How about a little Bachelorette update? What's going on with Becca? Is it going to be Garrett? Is it going to be Blake? And then what's right around the corner? Bip! We're going into the summer in Mexico. Little Tia and Colton drama? I'm expecting it. How about you? Let me know. What else is it that I'd like to talk about with you guys today? Moms, how about that JoJo kid? Is she driving your girls crazy like mine? I'm constantly buying bows. I got bows for every day of the month. It drives me crazy, and the kids walk around like they have an antenna on their head. It's horrible. What else is there? Fortnite? Who's a Fortniter out there? Come on, the big birthday celebration. Does anybody know where all those cakes are? When you get a chance, let me know. Oh, and finally, what will it be like here in the Los Angeles area living under a monarchy? We've never done that before, but with King James coming to the area, it's only a matter of time before we figure out what it's like to be royals. Now, this whole carrot thing that Officer Shane has you guys doing, right? Let's be honest. We all know about what cops really like.
Sergeant Boyer, what are you doing? Is this Facebook?
Nothing.
Is this Facebook Live? Is this live right now?
Not that I'm aware of.
I go to the cafe to get some carrots, and this is what you do? You steal my thunder?
Officer Shane, I would never. Your public loves you. I could never replace you. You're great at this.
Go to your office.
I'm really sorry. I had no idea. I'll get my
Don't
stuff.
yell at Officer Putin again. Get out of here.
I'm sorry. I'll go.
Sorry about that, folks. You know, nobody cares about your primetime viewing woes. Sorry about that. Well, I'm here, Officer Shane again with Ask a Motor Cop Facebook Live. And obviously, if you like this video, please subscribe to it, our channel, like it, and share it. We're gonna forget about what Sergeant Boyer said. We're gonna get straight to your questions because we have some really good questions this time. Our first one is from Debbie, and Debbie asks, if you're sitting at a red light and emergency lights come up behind you, and the only way for them to get through is for you to safely go through the red light, can you get a ticket? Well, Debbie, I know exactly what you're talking about. Sometimes if you are, or traffic stopped at a red light, and we have an emergency vehicle coming up, such as a police car, fire truck, or ambulance, you know, they got to get through the intersection. Hopefully, that emergency vehicle with its emergency lights and sirens will go on the opposite lanes where it's clear the intersection, and proceed. Sometimes, for whatever reason, they might not be able to do that. So if it's that scenario, please make sure, if you do have to proceed forward to clear that intersection, allow the emergency vehicle, make sure you do it safely. I suggest if you're in the far left lane, just simply moving over to the right, clear the cars in front of you, get out of the way, so that way the emergency vehicle can move through. So, great question. Hopefully you're safe when you do that. It's a very important thing to let those emergency vehicles through to get to that emergency. Shout out, Melissa, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. All right, our next question is from KF Baker, and KF asks, if a driver talks on the phone, driver talks or texts on the phone, can they get pulled over for that? And yes, anytime you use your handheld device while you're driving, even if you're stopped at a light, you have that phone in your hand or electronic device, you can get a ticket as a violation of that law. So just remember that. Please keep those distractions to a minimum so that way you stay safe. Thank you for that question. And Lori asked, can bicyclists be cited for driving in the street going against traffic? I see it in a lot of cities. If so, what's the fine for it? Yes, bicycles are considered vehicles, and they have to follow the same rules of the road like cars do. So therefore, they have to go the same way as traffic. They have to stop at stoplights. So if a bicycle is in the street, they must proceed with the same, as the same way as traffic. So they have to go the same way that cars do. And they can be cited if they're going the opposite way. And the base fine for that violation is going to be $25. I did some research in the Orange County area here with the assessments through the court system and whatnot. That fine maxes out at $197. Quite expensive. So for safety's sake, if you're riding your bicycle, please ride it with traffic and obey the laws too. And also wear your helmet. Even if you're an adult, wear your helmet, protect your head in case you do have a collision. Tracy, another shout out. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Our next question is kind of interesting. Jacqueline asks, in a parking lot where not all the vehicle codes apply to parking lots, especially like stop signs and some other turning movements and whatnot, there's no specific section that's applicable in a parking lot. So it really comes down to common sense and mirror what the right-of-way is in the street. So her question is, in a parking lot, if you got one car that's backing up and another car going straight through, who has the right-of-way? Well, in this case, it would be the person going straight through. If you're backing up, just like if you're out in the roadway, you have to back up when it's safe. You can't just back up into traffic and expect cars, which are going straight, have the right-of-way to yield to you. So in this scenario, it's the same thing. The car that's going straight will have the right-of-way, and the vehicle that's backing should yield to those cars that are going straight through. Really, really good question. Thank you for bringing that up. Some more shout-outs. Ryan, I see you're watching. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Another question is from Dewan, and Dewan asks, I know speeding is speeding, but is there an acceptable speed when you cannot get a ticket? Meaning if the speed limit is 45 and you've passed a radar going 49 or 50, is that a ticket or does it depend on the cop? Good question. That's really going to depend on the officer. I can't give you a definite speed as far as in a speed zone. For the most part, if you stay with under 10 miles an hour, don't go more than 10 miles an hour over that speed limit, you should be safe. I'm not going to say you are. Like I said, it's officer dependent. It depends on the state. It depends on the counties. It depends on cities. If you violate the speed law by going over the speed limit, it's technically a violation. If it says 35 and you go 36, technically it's a violation. Do we really write for that? No, we don't. So in my personal opinion, as long as you don't go 10 miles over what that speed limit is, you should be safe. But that's going to be a major street. Let's talk about a residential street, 25 miles an hour. Is 35 a safe for a narrow residential street with lots of cars parked on the side with kids out playing? Probably not. Probably not. I would stick closer to that 25 limit or less for that. So I wish I could give you a definite answer, but I can't. So please be careful, though. I appreciate that. And Catherine, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Our next question is from Olivia. Olivia asks, can I receive a ticket with a court appearance for not having a front license plate while seated in my vehicle in a Walmart parking lot? So, no, you cannot, because that would be, if you don't have a front plate on your car, and if you're just sitting in your car in the parking lot of Walmart, we can't pull you over for that. However, if you're out on the street and you're driving around without a front plate or any other equipment violation, we can pull you over and issue you a fix-it ticket for that. But in a parking lot, on private property, only certain laws apply. Expired registration does apply. That has to go with more abandoned vehicles or whatnot. But no, we can't write you a ticket just for merely sitting in your car in parking lot and you don't have a front plate on your car. But good question. Next question is from Guillermo, and Guillermo asks, is underglow, the neon lights that you see, illegal or legal? I've gotten this a lot, and I did some research on it. They are legal, however, there are some restrictions. And Guillermo, my best advice to you is to read this section I'm about to give you. It might shed some more light. It's just easier if you read it on your own. I will go over some main points, though. But the section is 25400, so it's 25400. Parenthetical A, little a, of the California Vehicle Code. And that'll spell out with those lights. Obviously, you don't want any red or blue lights to the front because you don't want it to mirror an emergency vehicle. The state of California, emergency vehicles have to have a solid red light to the front that's visible for 1,000 feet. That's what designates our emergency vehicles. So you can't have any lighting like that, which would protrude bright enough to the front of the vehicle, which would make it appear to be an emergency vehicle. So don't do that. And there's some other little nuances to that. It has to be non-glaring. So basically what that means is it has to be up underneath and dim enough that it doesn't reflect off the ground or protrude at least 75 feet out or so, which would be a distraction to drivers. So it has to be tucked underneath. And they actually mention a candela amount, so you'll have to research that. But it has to do with you can't have more than 0.05 candela per square inch of the lighting, which is actually kind of dim. So it has to be rather dim. In relating to this, Guillermo, my honest opinion is, yeah, it looks cool on show cars and whatnot. If you want to do it on your car and you want to turn them all on, just make sure it's on off the road, it's on private property. Because believe it or not, if you have lights, all these crazy lights up underneath your car, you're not doing yourself a service at night. It's actually not safer. It's more of a distraction. I mean, heck, look at what happens when people see police cars and fire trucks and ambulances going down the street, with lights and sirens. They want to tend to look at it. They want to see the flashing lights. They're intrigued. Well, that's actually unsafe because they're going to be looking at your lights more than paying attention to what's going on around them, and your propensity for getting in a collision is probably going to go up. So, in my opinion, it's more of a distraction than it is for safety. Because some people have asked me, well, can I do it for safety reasons to make myself more visible at night? You can, but in my opinion, and from what I've seen, just human nature and human behavior, like a moth to a flame, they're going to stare at that, and they'll probably be distracted by it. So just a word of the wise on that one. But great question. Thank you. And we have a question from Zeke. And Zeke asked, what is the law for when you can drive through a crosswalk when pedestrians are crossing? So I think, Zeke, what you mean is where or how long do you have to wait, or where do you have to wait if a pedestrian is crossing the crosswalk? And I've talked about this before. If you come up to a crosswalk, please stop at that limit line or that first crosswalk line. And if you have a pedestrian coming towards you, please wait. If they're walking away, you're all right. Courts have upheld that as long as the pedestrian is walking away from you, there's a less likelihood that they're going to decide, oh, you know what, I need to go back to the other corner if they're halfway across the street. So as long as they're going away, you're good. If they're approaching, please stay where you are. Let that pedestrian use the crosswalk to get safely across. So great question. Thanks for asking. And that is our last question for this session. But I got to do a promo before I leave. So I just want you all to know that we've got coming up on August 11th. Hopefully you can see this. It's Cruising with the Cop. It's a little bicycle event we'll be having. I will probably be out there. A little meet and greet if you'd like an autograph. Be more than happy to. Picture with Officer Shane, even better. We can put it on social media, get the word out. Once again, if you'd like this video, please like it, share it, subscribe it, and we'll see you next time on Ask a Motor Cop.